Okay, folks. Hope you guys rang in the new year with a bang. And happy 2020 to you. And now let's start for today. Get case number 12 of 30 in Supernatural Investigations, Dead Heat. We're traveling to Utah this time. Matthew, we went to the Rockies to find the mysterious correspondent who tried to throw us off the demon's trail. And soon after our arrival, we got a second message telling us to drop the investigation. Thing is, there was werewolf fur on that second note, so we suspect at least some of the werewolves are helping the demons. So we followed a werewolf pack from Colorado here to Utah to investigate them further. Chief, I know the perfect way for us to get our bearings. We should go to Lake Bonneville. All the water evaporated decades ago, and it's just a big flat salt bed where people race some of the fastest cars in the world. They've set world records and stuff. We've got to go check it out, and we can talk to people while we're there. Fast cars? Sounds pretty dope. And flat, huh? That means wheelchair accessible. I'll join you. Now let's head out to the Salt Flats. Bonneville Salt Flats, Matthew. This is so exciting. Why do I only see one car at the starting line? The race is a time trial. That's when the racers go one by one and compare their times. The fastest time to the finish line is the winner. Cool. Hey, looks like they're about to start. It's a beautiful day here at the Bonneville Salt Flats, and Jerry McKenzie is in position. Folks, this is his first ever race. Wish him luck. The countdown, and he's off. McKenzie wasted no time. He had traction right at the word go. Uh-oh, perhaps I've spoken too soon. Hopefully he can get this wobble under control. Oh my God! Mackenzie's car is barrel rolled and burst into flames. The paramedics are rushing out, but it pains me to say there's no way Mackenzie has survived that crash. Oh snap! Luke, did you see that? Yeah, that was the craziest crash I've ever seen. Cars don't burst into purple flames. That was some supernatural-ish right there. You're right. Let's go check it out. Hold it right there. You're not allowed on the racing grounds. Oh, it's okay. We're accident investigators. We need to go see Mackenzie. What do you want with him? He's dead anyway. Look, do what you will with the wreckage itself, but the body is police business. Matthew, body or not, he can't stop us. We have a responsibility to investigate. I'm gonna go tell the chief we've got a supernatural death on our hands. Well, Matthew, let's go find out what we can about this super weird car crash. My dad's a car guy. Severed hand. There we go. Will it be enough and I didn't get any help. Matthew, cars can't just burst into purple flames. Like Felix said, something supernatural is definitely going on. The cops blocked us from examining Mackenzie's body, but we can still look for clues. What have you found? Whoa, is that his hand? It must have been blown off in the crash. Make sure no one sees us with it. He had a bracelet. Racers don't wear jewelry during a race. This must have been important. Let's see what that logo means. And let's sort through some of the car wreck to see if we can find out why the crash happened in the first place. Hey, that's the trophy for the winner of this race. It looks like someone vandalized the plaque. Let's figure out what it says. Well, Matthew, this is how we'll get our bearings here in Utah. Let's get to work. Okay, I'll go ahead and get some more stars, so sit tight, folks. Okay, I've gotten 7 stars. Fallen asleep earlier. Matthew, what the heck is this weird jar? And how did it survive the car crash? Gross. Is that a dead rat? And a bird skull? This has supernatural weirdness written all over it. There's no way it's unrelated to the crash. Let's have Felix check this out. Hours. Let's get the 7th hand now. Ralph Mackenzie's logo. Matthew, the logo on the victim's bracelet is actually the logo for famous racer Ralph Mackenzie. I didn't even realize Ralph Mackenzie is the victim's uncle. Well, now that's figured out, we probably shouldn't tell the police we took the victim's hand. Let's put it into cold storage for safekeeping. And then let's go talk to Ralph Mackenzie. Mr. Mackenzie, we're accident investigators looking into your nephew's crash in today's race. It's a tragedy. His first ever race, and he's gone in the blink of an eye. I raced for 40 years, had plenty of close calls myself, even flipped my car a few times. But the race god smiled down on me. The worst I suffered were broken limbs, whiplash, a concussion once. Then my nephew climbs behind the wheel for the first time, we can see this is a difficult time for you, Mr. Mackenzie. We'll contact you if we have any questions. Oh, Lily Karam. Matthew, the scratches on the trophy plaque say the name Lily Karam. Who's that? Ah, Lily Karam is a famous racer. She's probably around here somewhere. Let's talk to her. Okay. Miss Karam, this trophy was meant for the winner of today's race. Why did you write your name on it before the race even happened? Who are you, and why do you care about that trophy? We're accident investigators, and we're looking into Jerry Mackenzie's crash in today's race. While Jerry and I were facing off against each other, it was the first big race of his career. I had to show him he'd have to work for it. To prove it, I put my name on the trophy. You seem pretty confident you'd have beat him in this race. Just goes to show confidence isn't enough. Things can go up in flames at any moment, quite literally. Anyway, since you're accident investigators, you'll want to check out the garage that serviced the car. Thanks for the tip. Matthew, let's head to the garage. Now I see the cat. That took too long. Well, I got extra help. Thank you very much. So this is where the victim's car was serviced for the race. What have we found to help solve the supernatural murder? Matthew, the victim's name is on this helmet. Looks like somebody left a note for him, but it's all faded away. And what's the deal with this torn paper? Looks like it was important. Let's piece it back together and see what it said. See what it is. It's a little after 5 a.m. I'm trying to be a little quiet. Matthew, this torn paper you found was for the safety check on the victim's car. Everything was checked off as being A-OK by a Malin Park. But if everything was fine, why did Malin tear it up? Let's ask her. Wow. Wow, the last two victims have been from the World Edition. Little walk down memory lane. That's always nice. Ms. Park, Jerry Mackenzie was killed in a terrible crash at Bonneville today. Oh no, it must have been the stress of driving his first official race. Sometimes drivers get the jitters. We're not so sure about that. We see you did the safety inspection on the car. Oh, you found it. I was just cleaning up my papers and must have tossed that one by accident. But as you can see, everything on the vehicle was in great working condition. Fresh oil topped off the coolant and the carburetor was spotless. I guarantee whatever the problem was, it wasn't mechanical. Could anyone else have accessed the car while it was here? It's possible, yeah. Our doors are always unlocked. Drivers and their fans are in and out of here all the time. I just can't imagine what anyone would have had against Jerry. He was a good guy. Ooh, a threat. Whoa, Matthew, this note on the victim's helmet is from our killer. The note says, I warned you not to do this race. Prepare for purple flames. Let's get this stuff to Priya to see if the killer left any trace on the note. Okay, 3 hours. I'll let these two run their courses. So for now, this is Matthew. I'll see you soon. Okay, we are back. Let's get the results of the jar from Felix first. Well, Matthew, that car crash was definitely supernatural. For real. This jar you found in the wreckage proves it. The jar was used to put a curse on the victim's car. This curse jar is your murder weapon. So a curse killed our victim. How is that possible? Each ingredient in the jar adds some different cursey flavor to that crazy crash. The rat shows the curse was meant to kill. The crow skull made the car fly. And monk's hood flowers caused the purple flames. Wow, seems like the killer worked hard putting the curse together. Yeah, the main thing we can take from this is that the killer's no slouch in spell casting. Well, no spell the killer casts is going to keep us from catching them. Matthew, from what Felix tells me, that car crash was pretty spectacular. Yeah, purple flames. It was a trip. Felix was immediately convinced it wasn't a normal car crash, but the frustrating thing is we weren't allowed access to the body. I know. Being supernatural investigators means making do with whatever clues we have, and this note you found isn't a bad one at all. And lucky for us, the killer's a klutz. They spilled Rocket Cow energy drink all over this paper when they wrote the note. So we know for sure your killer drinks Rocket Cow. Well, Matthew, looking out for someone with a can of Rocket Cow could help us can our killer. Matthew, I was so excited to watch the race at Bonneville. I had no idea we'd see a crash. And good thing we were there, since the crash was caused by a curse someone put on the victim's car. The mechanic who inspected the car before the race said it was in perfect shape, but I don't think her inspection includes checking for curses. The victim's uncle is a famous racer, and he seemed pretty shaken up by the crash. Apparently it was his nephew's first race. We know Mackenzie's competitor assumed she would win, but was that confidence or sabotage? Matthew, I'm glad I caught you here. Agent Madison, what do we do this time? Actually, I have some news you'll appreciate. Well, that's a first. Wasn't long ago, Agent Madison was hell-bent on locking us up. In fact, he even got the chief. And we'll get to Chapter 2 after this. Welcome back. Time to start Chapter 2 of Dead Heat. I have good news. I got you access to Jerry Mackenzie's body. You did that? To help us? Your chief contacted me to say young Jerry Mackenzie's death wasn't an accident, that you and your team suspect murder with a supernatural element. Team suspect murder with a supernatural element. Since our spectral adventures near Devilman's Bridge, I've learned not to question Mr. Arrow's judgment on such matters. So I used my influence in the Bureau to give you access to the body. It's waiting for you at the crash site. Wow, you've done us a solid, Agent Matheson. Matthew, let's go pick up the body at the crash site. Oh. Something tells me I'm probably going to have to get all 5 stars here. Not a problem, though. There we go. Matthew, who would have thought Agent Matheson would actually help us with the case? Thanks to him, we've got access to the victim. Now Ben can do a proper autopsy. Looks like you found a couple other things too. This torn paper looks like a magazine. Let's piece it back together. And who do you think this backpack belongs to? Couldn't hurt to have a look inside. "18 hours, okay. So sit tight, folks. I need to get the rest of the stars. Alright, let's get the magazine out of the way. I did say I'd get all 5 stars, and I did. Matthew, this is the cover of a gossip mag showing Mackenzie and his competitor from today's race, Lily Karam. But it looks like they were more than just competitors. They were a couple. And this magazine says they broke up recently. Miss Karam didn't give us this important piece of information. Let's see what she has to say about it now. Miss Karam, you didn't tell us you and Mackenzie were a couple. I didn't mention it because it was too painful. He broke up with me yesterday. Just before your race against him? Man, those gossip mags move fast. I spent the whole night drowning my sorrows in Rocket Cow and vodka. I'm glad I didn't have to race today because my head has been pounding. But I'm not glad Jerry's dead. Because now I won't even have the satisfaction of beating him. Now nobody wins. Something tells me she wouldn't hurt a fly, but we've seen stranger things happen. Xander Stark, Xander's business card. This backpack looks like it belongs to someone promoting Rocket Cow energy drinks. It's full of branded handouts, including Rocket Cow t-shirts with the victim's face on them. So the person who owns this backpack was in contact with Mackenzie. And you found a business card inside. Wait, it says Xander Stark? Xander's the werewolf dude we met in San Francisco. Looks like Xander might have been around for the crash. Let's talk to him. Excuse me. Oh, hey Matthew. Funny running into you here. Yeah, what brought you out here, Xander? After Danny died, I had nothing keeping me in San Francisco. So I followed a werewolf pack that was coming out here and got a job as a Rocket Cow promoter. I'm trying to set up sponsorships for racers at the Bonneville Salt Flats. Funny you should mention that. We're investigating Jerry Mackenzie's crash from earlier today. A murderous curse was put on his car. Were you there when it happened? Yeah, I was trying to sign Mackenzie on for a sponsorship. I knew he was going to be a huge deal, but since he was only starting to race, he still would have been cheap to sign. It's crazy to think someone kills him with a curse, but that's in your wheelhouse. I don't doubt you guys will solve the case. Gotta go. Matthew, we came here to look into the werewolves, and now Xander's among them. We should keep an eye on him. Okay, so we won't be getting to the next crime scene. I'll let the autopsy run its course, and for now, this is Matthew. I'll see you soon. Okay, we are back. First of all, this is not the opening chapter. We're in chapter 2. Looks like we got friends in high places now, Matthew. Yeah, I never thought I'd say it, but Madison helped us out big time. I gotta say, it's a good thing we couldn't take the body straight from the accident. Since the killer never had to touch Mackenzie, we wouldn't have found any clues from them on the body. All I would have done is confirm that his death was caused by the explosion. But since the body remained at the crash site, the killer took the opportunity to return after the accident while no one was looking. Really? How do we know the killer did that? Because only the killer would have left this cut-off bird head in the victim's jacket. The killer left a bird head on the dead body? Why? Matthew, to be specific, it's the cut-off head of a whip-poor will. Legend has it that when a person dies, whip-poor wills can chase and catch their soul as it leaves the body. Your killer left a whip-poor will head on the body to catch the victim's soul before it could do nasty vengeance. Huh. Okay, but what more does this give us on our killer? Well, I found sunscreen smeared on the feathers, which means it was on your killer's hands, so we know they used sunscreen. It's too bad the killer doesn't know a spell to protect them from the sun, since this sunscreen gives us more evidence against them. It's cool that we finally got the body to bed for examination, but this investigation is far from over. Where to next, do you think? Hey Matthew, Hope and I were talking about the race at Bonneville, and she'd heard there was a party last night celebrating someone's first race. It was Jerry Mackenzie's first race when he died. The party was thrown for him. Thanks, Gwen. Matthew, let's check out where they had that party. Man, Matthew, it's easy to forget it's January here, since the weather has stayed pretty hot, which explains why they had this party outside. The party was thrown for the victim, so there have got to be some clues here. Ho ho! This Spells for Schmucks book is pretty suspicious, considering Mackenzie was killed with a curse. Maybe examining this flaky stuff will tell us whose book this is. And I'm sure everyone had their hands in this mini bar at the party. Let's get it open. I'll do everything now. Got it. Matthew, among all the bottles in the mini bar, there is this weird keychain. It's got some kind of oil in it. Considering the victim was killed by a curse, we should definitely have Felix take a look at this oil vial. Okay. Matthew, now that you've got a sample of the colorful flakes on that Spells for Schmucks book, let's check them out with the microscope. Automotive paint. The flaky stuff on the Spells for Schmucks book is automotive paint. The only person to be handling automotive paint is Malin Park, the mechanic. That means the book on spellcasting is hers. Let's see what Malin has to say about this. Miss Park, we found your book of spells. Are you planning some sinister sorcery? How embarrassing. No, it's nothing like that. I only dabble in white magic. Look, I'm originally from Grimsboro. All of the crazy stuff happening there shook me pretty bad. So my daughter and I came to Utah to get away. Just desert life was a big change. We need sunscreen in winter. I'm just glad they have rocket cow out here too. I drink that stuff like water. And after the move, I started learning mysticism to help ground my spirit. Do you use these skills in the garage? I burn sage on occasion to protect the cars, and I give thanks to the four winds, but I never do anything with malice. Miss Park, dabbling in the dark arts is a dangerous business. You've got to be careful. I'll let the oil vial run its course. I'll see you when that's done. Okay, we are back. Just got through with cutting my hair. So let's get the results of the oil vial. So Felix, what can you tell us about that keychain vial we found at the cliffside bar where the party was? Is it used for curses? Is it the extract of some poisonous plant or fluid squeezed from a sacrificial goat's eyeball? Nope, nope, and nope. Believe it or not, it's olive oil. Olive oil? But why would someone put that in a keychain? In case they find a salad with no dressing? Actually, this keychain is something Mormon missionaries carry around with them. The oil is consecrated and they use it to bless stuff. So with that info, Hope got hold of the guest list from the party last night, and one of the guests was a Mormon. Dude's name is Flake Winningham. He's the guy who left the vial there for sure. If he was at the party, he must have known our victim. Matthew, let's go see what's up with this Flake guy. Be back, folks. Okay. Let's talk to Flake. Mr. Winningham, Jerry McKenzie died in a car crash earlier today, and we're investigating the accident. Jerry was killed? Oh, frig, that's terrible. What a loss for the church. Were you and Jerry friends? Yeah, went to church together since childhood. Heck, we did our Mormon mission together in Ecuador. We were best pals. And when that crazy son of a biscuit said he was going to be a race car driver, he became an icon in the Mormon community. Instead of saying he was a member of the Church of Jesus Christ of Latter-day Saints, we started saying he was in the Church of Bastard-day Saints. Isn't that classic? Yeah, pretty good joke. I can't believe he's dead. I'll have to break the news to the other church elders. They're going to be so flippin' sad. Well, Matthew, supernatural investigations always take unexpected turns. But I was still blown away to get help from the FBI. Of all people, Agent Matheson is the guy who got us access to the body. The autopsy confirmed what we knew already. The killer put a murderous curse on Mackenzie's car. Now the question is, who did it? We know his competitor in today's race was his recently ex-girlfriend, who saw the breakup as a call to arms. Then we found out that the mechanic dabbles in spell casting. Who knows what spells she's learned? We also met the victim's Mormon churchmate, Flake. I can't imagine he's a murderer. I mean, he says stuff like biscuit and flip just to avoid swearing. Oh, and that werewolf Xander is out here. He tried to sign the victim on for a Rocket Cow sponsorship. Matthew, I need your help. It's an emergency. And we'll see y'all for Chapter 3. Alright, let's start Chapter 3 of Dead Heat. Let's see. This is where we last left off on. Matthew, I need your help. It's an emergency. What's wrong, Hope? Scrooge is missing. I was changing the bedding in his cage. I left the door open for approximately 30 seconds, and when I came back, he was gone. It kills me to think of him wandering loose in the perilous desert. He's a guinea pig. He couldn't have gotten far. We'll keep an eye out. Thank you, Matthew. Wow, that's the most emotional I've seen Hope get about anything. She got attached to that little guy real quick. We'll keep an eye out for Scrooge while we do another sweep at the party thrown for Mackenzie's first big race. Let's go. Considering I was out for pretty long, I might speed it up a little bit, but we'll see what happens. Drink tray. Okay.
Because it's pretty dead. But it should be with your SIM and micro SD.
So Matthew, what else is left behind at the victim's pre-race party? The lock screen on this phone shows Mackenzie's car. It must be his phone. There could be a lead on it. Let's get it unlocked. And there's a bunch of stuff on this drink tray. Could a clue be hidden here? When we catch up to our killer, their party will be over. Brochure. Matthew, this brochure for Utah Law School is in that tray of glasses and bottles, and there's a note with the victim's name on it. A law school brochure is a weird thing to give a guy starting a career as a race car driver. Let's see what the rest of the note says. Matthew, the note on the law school brochure in the party tray says, Jerry, you can still drive flashy cars as a lawyer. And it's signed Uncle Ralph. Wait, Uncle Ralph? That means the note was written by the victim's uncle. You'd think Ralph would have been proud his nephew was going to be a racer too. Why would he give Jerry a law school brochure the night before his first big race? Let's ask Mr. Mackenzie about this. Mr. Mackenzie, why did you give Jerry this brochure for law school? He was going to be a famous racer like you. That's exactly why I had to stop him. Look, I know the racing life. It's fast and it's dangerous. His death this morning proves it. Jerry was a smart kid. I tried to show him he could have safety, security, and a nice car. He just shouldn't be a racer. Right? Why not? Too dangerous. You'll think I'm nuts, but the only things that help me feel safe in my own racing career were protection spells my grandmother taught me. I'm happy all I have to protect myself against now are sunburn and drowsiness. For those I have sunscreen and Rocket Cow. I wanted that simplicity for Jerry too. Sometimes the danger of something is too alluring to stay away. That's why we became accident investigators. I don't think I'm the only one disappointed with Jerry's life choices. An old church friend of his was yelling at him at the party last night. Old church friend? That's gotta be Flake. Matthew, let's see what he was yelling about. Flake, we heard you had some harsh words for Jerry at the party last night. Of course I did. The son of a biscuit was going to leave the Mormon church for good. I noticed he stopped coming to worship, and eventually he stopped seeing any of his Mormon friends at all. Even me. Made me feel like flippin' scrud. I even heard someone saw him drinking a beer once. Sounds like you were seeing a side of him you didn't like. We've got young elders at the church who look up to him. He's got to set a good example. I almost brought a group of missionaries out to see his race, and I bought extra sunscreen so we could make a whole day of it. But there's no way I'd expose other elders to Jerry's cruddy behavior. Oh my heck, I'm sorry I got so peeved just now. I should go. Something tells me he wouldn't hurt a fly. Okay, victim's phone. Got it. Perfect. Now let's have Hope search Mackenzie's phone for clues. This 9 hours? Yes, it is. Okay. So I'll see you guys when this is done. Maybe I'll speed it up a little later on, but for now, this is Matthew. I'll see you soon. Well, I ended up letting it run its course, so let's get the unlocked phone now. Matthew, I found Scrooge. He was nestled inside one of my boots. I apologize for my extreme reaction. I got a little carried away. No sweat. I'm glad he's safe and sound. Hey, did you get a chance to check out our victim's phone? Yes, I found messages between Jerry and Xander. Sure, Xander was trying to sign a Rocket Cow sponsorship with Jerry. Well, Jerry wanted out of the deal they were making, and Xander was enraged. There was much yell typing in capital letters, and Xander finishes by telling Jerry, "You'll be sorry." Sounds threatening to me, Matthew. Let's go talk to Xander. Xander, why did you threaten Jerry for refusing a racing sponsorship with Rocket Cow? Because that sponsorship could have made us both a ton of money. And until the last minute, he was on board. I got up early this morning, chugged a couple of Rocket Cows, slathered myself with sunscreen, and went out to Bonneville to seal the deal. I know a couple of spells, so while I was standing out there on the salt flats, I recited some of them, hoping their power would move him to sign. But that's when he texted me saying he was out. So then you whipped up a different kind of spell to get revenge? Rocket Cow doesn't sponsor corpses. Jerry was worth more to me alive than dead. I guess he got what he wanted. I can't bother him about it ever again. My guess is he's the one. Matthew, there's a common theme in people's beefs with the victim. They disagreed with his life choices. His uncle, a famous race car driver himself, wanted a less dangerous and more practical life for Jerry. Flake was outraged that Jerry distanced himself from the Mormon church and set a bad example for younger members. Meanwhile, Xander was desperate for Jerry to sign on for a Rocket Cow sponsorship. But all these people, who would curse Jerry's car? But of all these people who would curse Jerry's car, there's more digging to do. I think we should search the garage again. That was unfortunate. I could very well have had this and I screwed up. And I would have had it if I didn't screw up. Matthew, a mortar and pestle are weird things to have in an auto garage, but they're not weird things to use to curse someone. Let's get a sample of the stuff in the mortar. And speaking of strange things to find in a garage, what's this broken stone? Let's reassemble it. I can feel we're close to the finish line on this case, Matthew. Whoa, Matthew, this memorial plaque was made for the victim. Wait a minute, you're right. This engraving looks like a whip-poor will, the same type of bird Felix said would capture the victim's soul after death. Was the killer already planning Jerry's funeral? We can't be sure, but it's weird. Let's send this plaque to Felix. Maybe he can tell us more about it. Dark powder. Great! Let's get that sample from the mortar and pestle to Priya for testing. And I'll see you guys when I collect all 5 stars. See y'all soon. Okay, we are back. Let's get the results of the funeral plaque. Excuse me. Felix, we know that's a whip-poor will on the memorial plaque the killer made for the victim. Yes, which links it to the head you found in the victim's jacket, left to protect the killer from the victim's soul. Did you learn anything else from the plaque? Well, I asked Priya to check it out under the microscope, and she found black hairs caught on the talons of the bird carving. It's grotty, I know, but this was part of the protection spell the killer cast with the bird head. The killer had to put some of their own hair on a representation of the bird to stay with the body after burial. This proves that your killer's got black hair. Matthew, we're searching for a black-haired practitioner of black magic. Priya, was the substance in the mortar and pestle Matthew found at the garage? Your instincts were right. It was an ingredient from the curse jar the killer put in the victim's ear. In the jar was some monk's hood, a poisonous plant that caused the purple flames during the crash. But the killer had also burnt monk's hood, ground the ashes in the mortar and pestle, and added a drop of their own blood. Then they smudged the mixture onto the dead rat's fur in the curse jar, which Felix told me strengthens the spell. Wait, the killer's blood was in the sample we took? Yes, mixing it with the ash made it a tough sample to work with, but I was able to discover that the killer's blood type is AB positive. We've almost got enough evidence to AB positive about who the killer is. Matthew, the killer will be cursing their fate when we arrest them. Let's go get him. It's certainly not Lily Karam. Wait a minute. Not Malin Park. And it isn't Xander Stark either. Wouldn't you believe it? The uncle did it. Ralph Mackenzie, you cursed your nephew's car and it killed him. A curse? Are you crazy? I don't believe you're real accident investigators. You got that right. We're supernatural investigators, and we've got all the evidence we need to prove you're his killer. Supernatural investigators? Then you can help me. I'm desperate. Why don't you start with an explanation? I wanted to be a racer ever since I was a little boy. I prayed for it every night before going to sleep. One night in a dream, the devil came to me and said I could be a champion racer. But only if I was the last race car driver in my family. If any member of my bloodline took up racing after me, I would be punished with eternal hellfire. Eternal hellfire was scary, of course, but I was so desperate I agreed immediately. Sure, a deal with the devil. What's the worst that could happen? Next race I came in first place and I won every race after that. The deal really worked. I had an amazing racing career, but after I retired, my nephew Jerry started talking about racing. I begged him not to and tried everything from scuba lessons for his birthday to trying to get him into law school. Nothing worked. He registered for his first ever race in Bonneville, and I started to see signs. What do you mean signs? Signs the devil was preparing to cast me into eternal hellfire. A few days ago, my stove burst into flames for no reason. Later, I was in the grocery store and this old lady was just staring at me. Clearly, the devil was coming for my soul. So I concocted a curse to keep Jerry from becoming a racer, to save both of our souls. I had no choice. Mr. Mackenzie, that is one of the craziest stories I've heard as a supernatural investigator. We'll let our chief sort you out. So, Mr. Mackenzie, you say a deal with the devil compelled you to kill your nephew with a curse, huh? Yes, it was Jerry or me. At least now both of our souls will avoid eternal hellfire. You know the devil isn't real, right? But he appeared in my dream. He made me sign in blood. He has to be real. Sounds like it was a pretty crazy dream, but that's all it was. You were so desperate to become a racer, your subconscious helped you believe it was possible. No! It had to have been real! What have I done? Well, the good news is your career as a successful race car driver was actually due to your talent and determination. But if the devil isn't real, what about black magic? The curse I cast upon my nephew? Oh, black magic and curses are totally real, and dangerous, as you know. Unfortunately, that means your case won't be taken seriously in a court of law. You can't be tried for the murder. Looks like your eternal hellfire is knowing you murdered your nephew for no reason. I destroyed my family. I deserve this hell. Well, he's right. Well, Jacob Arrow's right about what he said. Matthew, I can't believe Mr. Mackenzie thought his success as a racer was because of a deal with the devil he made in a dream. And then he murdered his nephew to avoid the consequences. The greatest trick the devil ever pulled was convincing the world he actually existed. Well, you know what do exist? Demons and werewolves, and they're cooking something up together. We've got to find out more about that. Idle hands are the devil's playground. Matthew, we've got work to do. And I'll see you guys for the Call of the Wild 2-5. Okay, let's start the Call of the Wild 2-5. Wow, Matthew, can you believe Ralph thought he made a deal with the devil and then murdered his nephew to avoid the consequences? There's a lot of craziness in the world, and this job is a crazy magnet. Yeah, amateurs meddling with black magic never ends well. But one thing we didn't get to do is see a race at Bonneville. Hey, I just remembered hearing they let amateurs race at Bonneville. Do you think I could actually get to race? Knock yourself out, kid. You and Matthew have earned it. I don't have a car of my own. And we can race one of the team's RVs. Let's visit Malin Park at the garage and see if she knows of a car we can use. Meanwhile, we know some werewolves are conspiring with demons, though we're not sure what for. What we do know is that the werewolf pack we met in Colorado is now here in Utah. Matthew, I have thoughts on that. When you have a moment, I'd like to see you and the chief. That sounds more important than the race. But after you talk to Priya, we can go see Malin about getting a race car. Chief, Matthew, you know I've been at odds with my werewolfness ever since it became a fact in my life. You've got our support, Priya. Well, I think it's time I embrace being a werewolf. I want to join the werewolf pack here in Utah. Join them? You decided to run away with a werewolf pack? No, as an undercover mission. So I can find out more about this alleged alliance with demons and discover who the rogue wolves are and what they're planning. Are you sure that's a good idea? You've never lived like the wolves before. Not to mention an undercover mission is dangerous. What if they find out and turn on you? I've thought about it and I want to do it, whatever the risks. Only a werewolf can help you, and I'm a werewolf for better or worse. Well, if your mind's made up, then we have to give you something to defend yourself against the other werewolves. If you and Matthew find some silver, Ben could craft you a self-defense weapon. Matthew, the party bar you investigated probably has silver utensils. Let's go look. Wasted all that. Matthew, I'm grateful the chief trusts my plan to infiltrate the werewolf pack. But he's right. If something goes wrong, I'll need to defend myself against the others. So we're looking for something silver for Ben to craft into a weapon. Do you think there's something in the supply trunk from the bar? Let's get it open. You got the trunk open, Matthew, and there's silverware inside. Do you think it's... Yow! Oh, it burns! Well, that confirms it. That knife is real silver. That'll definitely work if anyone in the werewolf pack gives me trouble. Could you carry it back to base for me? Hopefully Ben can make a weapon that's safe for me to use. Malin, we heard that amateurs can sign up to race at Bonneville. Definitely. I saw some slots on the roster open for this afternoon. I would totally flip if I could enter the race, but there's one small problem. I don't have a car to drive. Oh, that's no problem. I've got one here I can lend you. Really? Oh, that would be amazing. Just one catch. You've got to help me finish fixing it. I don't have time to do it all myself. Find the broken exhaust manifold and piece it back together. Then I'll strengthen the welds and the car will be yours for the race. Thanks, Malin. Matthew, let's find that exhaust manifold. I gotta admit, Matthew, I love car racing, but I don't know the first thing about how they work. These metal pieces look broken. Do you think they're the exhaust manifold Malin said she needed? We'll have to put it back together and find out. Matthew, you got the exhaust manifold reassembled. Let's get it to Malin. Alright, 6 and 9 hours. I'll see you all soon when both of these are done. Okay, we are back. Let's get the results of the silver knife from Ben first. Ben, thanks for crafting me a weapon. I'd be scared to infiltrate the werewolf pack empty-handed. I used to do this stuff all the time. In the army, we had to be ready to improvise with whatever we had. I was once taken prisoner behind enemy lines and had to make a shiv out of toilet paper and mashed potato rations. You've got to be prepared, Priya. And compared to my story, this silver shiv I made from the knife you found was a cinch. Now, there are two ways to hold a knife in this size. There's the forward grip, blade pointed up. That's for thrusting upward into the gut or under the jaw. Then there's the reverse grip, blade down. Use this to stab downward at someone. Find which grip is comfortable to you. I've got a dummy you can practice on. I must confess, Matthew, I'm kind of nervous about this infiltration idea. You'll do fine. Just stay alert. If something don't feel right, it probably isn't. Yes, it's important that I do this, not just to find the werewolf helping the demons, but to finally feel comfortable in my fur. Now I have to ask the werewolf pack to let me join. Annette and Xander have both invited me before. but Envoy E is approaching Xander. Let's go see him, Matthew. Let's ask him. You're Priya, right? I remember you from California. Have you changed your mind about joining the pack? Actually, yeah. Is the invitation still open? You're serious? Of course it is. What made you change your mind? Well, it's true that my team is like family, but I want to explore this other side of me. Annette invited me too, but I'm a bit shy and prefer the support of a friendly face. Of course, I'll take you to her. Oh, that makes me so happy. Hey, that kind of felt good. Matthew, I'll see you and the team again soon. In the meantime, here, take this as a thank you for your help and support. Nice. Okay. Now the exhaust manifold to get Luke into the car race. Great work on the exhaust manifold, Matthew. You've got a knack for repair work. I've installed the part and the car is running fine. You're good to go. Perfect. Can we sign up for the race here? Yes, but I don't have the roster. You should talk to Lily Caram. She'll get you registered. Will do. Oh man, my hands are shaking. I'm so excited. Matthew, let's go see Lily. Lily, can you sign us up to race at Bonneville? Sure I can. You can race me since I didn't get to go this morning. Got a car? Yeah, Malin's letting us borrow one of hers. And you've got safety gear? No. Any chance you could, borrow some? I'll see what I can do. We should have a helmet and suit around here that'll fit you, but you'll need some gloves. They've got to fit perfectly. If your gloves are too loose or too tight, you could lose control of the wheel or the shifter. And I don't want another competitor dying today. Okay, we'll find gloves. Also, Matthew, let's grab something to eat. Shouldn't race on an empty stomach. Matthew, that's a duffel bag of racing gear. There's got to be a pair of gloves in there. Let's dig in. Got it. Perfect, Matthew. You found a pair of gloves in that racing gear. And would you look at that? They fit me like a glove. Come on, let's go race against Lily. Okay, Fernandez, ready to race? Bring it on. Prepare to eat my salt. Well, it's the last race of the day here at Bonneville Salt Flats, folks, and I believe it'll be a good one. The racers are in position, awaiting the signal, and they're off. Both racers got a good start and are up to speed. Lily Karam has a slight lead. Oh, but it looks like newcomer Luke Fernandez is overtaking her. Can Karam regain her position? It's neck and neck between Karam and Fernandez. I smell a photo finish, folks. And by a grain of salt, newcomer Luke Fernandez has won the race. Wow, that was some driving, Fernandez. Thanks, you weren't so bad yourself. Rematch sometime? You're on. And Matthew, you can keep that racing gear. You've earned it. Wow, Matthew, what a rush to race against Lily. I didn't tell you this before, but I had my fair share of street races as a teenager, so I wasn't a total noob. But I never raced legally. It's a whole different feeling when you're not worried about the cops catching you. Glad you had fun out there. Now we've got to get back to work. Priya went off with the werewolf pack on an undercover mission. At least we kitted her out with some protection, and she practiced moves on one of our dummies. Hopefully she'll find the werewolf cooperating with the demons and be back with us soon. Meanwhile, we can't just sit here twiddling our thumbs. I think it's time to seek out my former mentor. He taught me everything I know about hunting the supernatural. He'll definitely be able to give us advice on dealing with these demons. The trick is locating him. He's completely off the grid. Last I heard, he was in the woods in Idaho. So let's pack up and head north. We're off to Idaho. January 9th, that's another Thursday. Sorry guys, ran out of film time. I'm already over. Even though the case is already wrapped up. Rinse. Okay. Okay. Okay, that'll do. And since I now have, oh well, I don't have it yet. Probably have to refresh the browser. So case 12 is done. And I'll see you guys on January 9th. See y'all soon.